Coming up, we discuss all of the resort enhancements at the Polynesian Resort at Walt Disney World. All of that on this episode of the Diz Unplugged. This is a Diz Unplugged, episode number 796 for the week of April 7th, 2015. The Diz Unplugged is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel, experts in planning the perfect Walt Disney World, Universal, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, and other destination vacations for you and your family. Contact them on the web at www.dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. Hello, everyone. My name is John Magi, and I will be your host for this segment. And I am joined this week by our Orlando team, Kathy Whirling.
Hi. Never know what to say.
Kevin Close.
Hi.
Hi. Jenny Lynn Knopp.
Hello, everybody.
Julie Martin.
Namaste.
Back in the production look, we have Rhino Clavin.
Hello.
Clavin.
No, Clavin's right.
Oh, Clavin.
Yeah. Okay.
And Craig Williams.
Hi.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us. We are going to spend some time on this episode talking about all the resort enhancements that are coming to the Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. I have to get used to the fact that now it has a different name. That's part of the enhancements, or it's gone back to the original name. We've covered several different things over the past couple of weeks on the show, like the Bora Bora Bungalows, as part of the new Disney Vacation Club expansion, the lobby renovation, the pool renovations. But what we wanted to do is we wanted to give you sort of a one-stop shop for everything that's been done so far, as well as everything that's coming up and should be completed fairly soon. Craig and Jenny Lynn have had a chance to spend some time at the Polynesian, so I'm going to let them sort of steer this conversation and share with us some of their experiences with what's going on at the Polynesian. Craig. Okay, this isn't a surprise. We talked about this before the show. We discussed how we were going to handle it, and he still was deer in headlights.
Well, I thought that it just could have made it a bigger production than that, but it's fine.
Okay, back to me.
Okay.
Yeah, Craig is going to be here. Oh, it's Craig.
Oh, thank you.
There's my production.
No introduction needed. Yes. The Polynesian has undergone literally a massive reimagining, as you said it, straight from even the name change. So before it was Disney's Polynesian Resort, now it's gone back to the old classic Polynesian Village Resort, from which I understand was the original name in 1971 until some point in time that they decided to switch it.
I love the fact that they went back to this name, but I also love the fact that they've kind of gone back to the font.
Oh,
Yes.
You know, it sort of brings back that really classic Disney look. The entrance is beautiful.
Yeah, and that was one of the first things that actually debuted whenever they started reimagining the entire resort. The brand new entrance, which is just stunning if you haven't seen it, especially at night. In the daytime, I mean, if it's Florida and it's cloudy and ugly outside, it's not that great. But at night, whenever the lights are on and the fountain's running, it's really spectacular. But then a lot of the fun begins once you get into the resort. So construction walls have started to come down because they were up basically everywhere throughout the resort. Like, just the entire place has been under construction. The lobby went through its renovation. They added the bungalows, as you mentioned. One of the DVC, or one of the regular rooms, was converted into Dvc Studio Villas. They've had a lot going on, and basically if you've stayed there at any time in the past 18 months, you are having a very interrupted experience, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right.
But so once you're going into the lobby, the first big change that everyone already knows about is that the fountain is gone. We've talked about it in massive extent on this show over and over and over again. And what is replaced is a nice tiny little fountain with the Tiki statue Maui, which some people love and some people hate.
This is actually very controversial. The renovation of the lobby is something that's online people are discussing, and even in person, people come up to me and say, oh, they hate it. I mean, it's a lobby.
Because it's all your fault, John.
It is all my fault.
It looks
Except
like a bus stop.
Kathy thinks it looks like a bus stop. Other people think it's appropriate for the space. In addition to the center area, did they also redo the check-in areas?
They did redo the check-in areas, and I forgot to put a picture in, so we can't really share that. It's on the website if you want to see it, because we did, before the entire resort was actually finished, this is a good plug for 7 and 7, we did cover it as part of our 7 and 7 series, so there'll be a link to that in the show notes. So some of the early stuff that opened up, like the Pineapple Lanai and the reimagined Captain Cook's and the check-in desk. We already covered all of those in detail, so check out our 7 and 7 coverage to see all of that.
I would just say, as far as the check-in desk, what they did is they broke it up into individual stands. So now the cast members can come out in front of the stand
What they
and
did-
talk
long
to the
counter.
guests.
It's much more welcoming.
Right,
Yeah.
what they did at Art of Animation, they sort of made that sort of welcoming. You don't want the cast member to be behind the desk when you check in. They want
Right.
them out interacting with guests. And it's all kept within the Polynesian theme, I assume.
Oh yeah, no, it all perfectly blends in. What they've really done with the lobby, in my opinion, is they took it from a resort that was starting to look like it was 50 years old, and they completely modernized it, made it very clean, just really pleasing to actually be in there. Obviously not to everyone who doesn't like change, but I mean, this is a really classy looking lobby now, but it still has those retro touches to
Yeah,
it.
that's what I was going to say.
Just because something's 50 years old doesn't mean it's bad.
No.
I mean, we have buildings that were built in the 1800s that have historic markers on them now. So I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think that example is just because something's 50 years old, and I'm talking
We hit a nerve.
that it doesn't mean it needs a complete overhaul.
It doesn't.
We kind of preserve things that get to be classic. So I can see where people are upset. Be like gutting a historic building as far as some people, their history's only 50 years old. I can't.
It's true. I've made my opinion very clear on this. But one of the cooler aspects of the new lobby is the Kevin and Jody piece that's now hanging up right beside the check-in.
Kevin Kidney and Jody Daly,
Exactly.
friends of the show.
They were commissioned to do a beautiful, beautiful painting of the resort in their style, and it's a nice big map. So I guess if you're lost, then you can look at this little goofy map to try to figure out where you're going around. I don't know if it's the most practical of things, but
No, it's stylized and it's made to, be a decoration, but I think it's really cool.
no,
They have an incredible style.
it fits in so well. I mean, Tiki is one of their biggest things. I know they have a love for Mary Poppins and a lot of the classic Disney movies, but especially with the Tiki culture, they've done a lot of the Tiki statues like Pele and all of them over at the Tiki Room. So it's definitely a perfect fit for the entire resort. Also, kind of in the lobby area, they've really shown the new merchandise that they have coming out. It's all in that same retro style again. I don't really like the new designs.
I do. I think you nailed it a little bit back when you said they modernized the resort, but when we say modernized, it is with that retro feel. So they do keep a little bit of the essence of what you guys are missing. I think they do that to help with the efficiency of being hospitable. I love it that they come out to you from behind the counter now. That has actually happened when I've walked into the resort. I'm approached, can I please help you check in? Follow me over to the counter. That's kind of a new experience for me. I thought it was very, very cool. With the merchandise, everything's done with that same retro feel to it. I think it's cute and appealing. I think it's going to be very popular. And there's quite a bit more Polynesian Village specific merchandise. Now, a few years back, we didn't have that at all. And I'm glad that Disney's finally catching up to the idea that people don't want just Walt Disney World merchandise, but they want merchandise that's specific to where they stayed when they were here, especially a resort as popular as the Polynesian. The end.
Wonderfully put. So the biggest obvious update to all of this that we've been talking about nonstop, I believe we were also the first website to break the news of this, but the bungalows, the Bora Bora Bungalows that were built out at Sunset Point, which really upset a lot of people who would go there to watch fireworks all the time and had a lot of good memories from there. But they built the bungalows right in that water area, right in front, and we actually had a chance to go look inside, Jenny Lynn and I, whenever we were at the media event for it, for the grand opening last week. Do we want to show a little video of it so you get a better idea what it looks like?
Please.
Okay, well, we will go ahead and play that now.
They look great. During the video, we were all talking here about the little touches and how cool they all look, and they sort of have a retro, small world feel to them. And
yeah, and that's purposeful. We were told when we took a tour of the studios and the bungalows that there are little touches in the rooms that you can see that are done in the style of Mary Blair from It's a Small World, whether it's things on the bedding, to the shower curtains, to touches that were added to the furniture. So you'll see that throughout, and it's has a really great feel to it. The whole addition of DVC to the Polynesian village, they have the 3 long houses that were transformed into DVC studios, which are the largest studios within DVC inventory at this point. And then there's the bungalows, which are the 2-bedroom units. There are no grand villas and there are no 1-bedroom units in this particular DVC property. And what they do instead is most of the studios have connecting doors in between them, so you can connect 2 studios and sleep up to 10 people within those 2 units.
That's great for sleeping. I think what happens though is you lose that kitchen. And a lot of people who do DVC for the 1-bedrooms like the kitchen.
Yeah, you have to have the bungalow in order to get the kitchen. Both of the studios do have kitchenettes. The other thing that's different about this is for the first time for a studio in DVC, the studios have 2 bathrooms. So, you know.
It's that split bath design, not 2 complete separate bathrooms. It's like the toilet and shower in one area and tub and a sink in another, or vice versa. Correct.
Is it 2 toilets? I think it's 2 toilets.
Yeah, I believe there's 2 toilets in both of them. It's it's kind of set up a bigger style than what it's like on DCL with the split bathrooms, but that same exact idea, and very large bathrooms at that. I think we had normal size and not a handicap accessible room.
Yeah.
But it was very, very large. All very pretty. And
I
kind of
noticed a trundle.
Sorry.
Am I wrong? Did I see a trundle?
Yes, you can
with Lilo and Stitch.
Yes, you can sleep 5 people in each studio. There's the queen bed, then there's a queen size sleeper sofa, and then there's the Hideaway Bed, which you're looking at right now. That is that unit that sits under the flat screen TV, and it pulls down into a twin bed. And then above the twin bed is a mural of Lilo and Stitch slumbering very contentedly in a hammock.
The Trundle Beds are, I apologize, Craig. The Trundle Beds are becoming very popular at DVC. They put them in the Grand Floridian Villas, and as they remodel, they seem to be adding them. It adds more places, more beds, which is great for bigger families.
Kind of like DCL. It's like, hey, look, there's a bed.
Exactly. Sort of plops out of the wall.
You'll find 2 of them in the bungalows. There's one in one of the guest rooms, so you have the queen bed and then a hidden bed in one guest room, and then there's also a hidden bed under the flat screen TV in the living room.
And that one has an electrical water pageant mural on it instead of the Lilo and Stitch sleeping, because that's the big selling point of the bungalows, is that you have literally the best view you can have of the Polynesian fire or the Magic Kingdom fireworks, as well as the water pageant literally coming
straight
right past
your deck,
where you're sitting.
Not a selling point.
Yeah, Kevin doesn't consider that a selling point.
I mean, I guess for people who like it, it is a selling point.
So if they took that, I mean, that's usually where the dresser is in the rooms. What do they have for storage for families to put your clothes
Lay
away?
your clothes on the bed and close your bed.
A lot of closets.
Yeah, there are many closets.
Very, very big closets at that. There is plenty of space all around the units.
Okay.
Even though I sound unsure about it, I
was
do.
going to say, the only thing is that's something I've heard people say is worrisome, that there aren't a lot of drawer space. But, you know, you're on vacation. Got to do what you got to do, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, and with the whole bungalow and studio villas, they're not trying to appeal to every single DVC member with this. One of the key selling points that they wanted to instill in us is that the whole reason why they did this is to complete that whole DVC transformation around the monorail line. So now you do have those options there. Grand Floridian and Bay Lake, you basically have any option that you could ever want in terms of staying DVC. And then Polynesian, because it's, in their opinion, one of the most unique resorts that they actually have on property. They want, instead of doing just the standard thing, they wanted to give something that was a bit more unique at that. So that's how the bungalows got chosen for it.
And they succeeded. These units have quite a few features that you just can't find anywhere else on property. You know, the decks with its own personal plunge pool being one. It's hard to beat that real estate too.
Is there any DVC common areas? Usually they put in a DVC room where members can go and
there is Sunset Point, that nice little grassy knoll, but they do not have like a particular lobby that you can go to or anything like that.
Go back to the bus stop.
It's not completely finished yet either. The longhouses are supposed to have in total, I believe, 360 rooms when they're done. Only 2 of the longhouses are currently open. The third one's expected to open in July.
What about a DVC only pool?
I think that I believe, you know what, I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be an additional pool. Isn't that correct?
Well, now that the Volcano Pool is almost finished, I mean, for all I know, we're here right now. It could have been finished today, but
Well, they're swimming in the new pool, so
they're already swimming in the
Yeah,
new pool,
I-
and it's
that's-
finished.
Morning, I saw.
yeah.
Okay, I missed that. So that's finished now. So the East Garden Pool, or whatever it's called, once the Volcano Pool is that's now going down for a complete refurbishment. I don't know if that's going to become the DVC pool, or if
Or what it's
going
gonna
to be
be.
something else, if they're going to build another pool, or if they're just going to completely skip that. But that is information I don't have, so I don't
Yeah,
want
it's
to
a really
fake it.
good question. We weren't given clear.
The Disney Vacation Club has become so lucrative for the company that it feels like they're just going to keep expanding. So it's very possible that you might see more resorts turn more rooms into DVC hotels.
They're going to build DVC at the Ticket and Transportation Center.
Are they?
I got to be honest too. If they had another pool built especially for them, or if they took over the East Garden Pool, it's not going to be as good as actually just going with the low income families at the Volcano Pool.
Right.
Polynesian's expensive. I wouldn't call anybody saying that the Polynesian low income. Well, here's the deal. Any DVC pool on any property is usually just a square pool.
Right.
Yeah.
It
It's just a
serves as
place-
a quiet pool, more or less.
Correct.
I mean, think about the Wilderness Lodge. They have that DVC pool, which is cool. It has little, supposedly, quote unquote, hot springs that come up from the bottom. But other than that, there are no particularly fantastic features to it.
Right.
And it's much more enjoyable to go to the main pool.
That's pretty much true of any DVC property, the way they've set it up.
Well, and the Volcano Pool is now open. The last time I was there to take pictures of it, it wasn't completely open, but walls were down, and it looks like they upgraded all the new deck chairs, so everything looks a lot more comfortable now. And then also the kids' splash area looks like it's going to be a ton of fun.
Can you go back to the Volcano Pool? Tell us the
absolutely can.
difference between what was there and what's there now.
A volcano.
Yeah, they cut down on it a little bit, I think.
They
In
put
terms
in
of the pool itself hasn't changed. It's the exact same.
They put in a hot tub. There's more seating, but one of the things that they did get rid of is the cabanas. You used to be able to rent. There's no cabanas
Yes.
for the foreseeable future there.
Someone in chat has suggested they build a Richard Petty driving DVC.
There you go.
That sounds awful.
You get a highway view.
Sleep in an actual race car, not the plastic ones.
And what about the kids' splash area? Talk about that a little bit.
The kids' splash area is just going to be similar to the one that they built now at Wilderness Lodge that we saw, as well as the one at Grand Floridian. It's going to have a lot of water coming from different areas and splashing around and fountains, and I guess it's enjoyable to kids.
Not my
Yes.
kids.
Well,
Okay,
I would
never
think
mind.
I would think
I'm
that
not
it is-
kidding. They do not like those where you have to walk around and like get in under the fountains or be splashed. It's cold. If the water's cold, they're cold. My kids need to be in the pool swimming because it's warmer that way.
My
you
kids
know?
always loved it, and we're seeing this as a continuing trend among all of the resorts where they're trading in the little kid wading pools for these interactive areas. My guess is, I think a lot of I think a lot of children do enjoy it. They like the freedom of kind of skidding around in and out of fountains and having things dumped on them, and they get to be a little bit more silly, maybe a little bit more wild. And then also it kind of takes away a little bit of the hazard feature of a child drowning in a pool, because there is no pool to drown in. You're probably not going to drown in the fountain that's that you're running through.
The other thing too is they had these. We wouldn't think so, but kids would think elements of surprise. There are things that fill up and empty the water out. That's
Yes.
not exactly something a child might anticipate, but it looked a lot like what was
more
going on.
interactive.
It looked a lot like what's at Alani. That sort of splash area as well.
The only negative thing I can say about it, sorry, Kathy,
It's okay.
is that it literally butts up right beside the Tiki Terrace over at Trader Sam's, the outside seating, and the lines really have not died down so far for Trader Sam's. So there's going to be people sitting outside basically constantly every night waiting to get in, and I could see it starting to get a slight bit obnoxious having that much happening right beside it. If it's windy, the water could be spraying all over.
Oh,
I hope they
yes,
thought
yeah.
of something like that. There is a
Ponchos.
wall that is separating some of it, but I could see it ending up being disastrous at some points. That might be a little bit too overdramatic. Might be an inconvenience.
And they did fence in the pool, correct?
Yes.
And I know there's an outlet or there's a gate down by the beach, but I'm sure they're going to keep a better eye on who can get into the pool area, since that used to be one of the pools that people used to.
Well, I didn't see any like room scanners or room key magic band scanners to get in. I thought it looked similar to how Wilderness Lodges was set up, that it's just a gated entry, I guess, to help kids from not getting in and out. So it doesn't look like they're stopping people from coming in, the average common folk, but it definitely will help escaping kids that don't like their parents and want to run away.
Gotta watch out for these.
That is not always why they run, Craig.
I don't have them. I don't know.
So other than the low-income common folk of Polynesian, what else is new that would want to make sure people are aware of?
Oh, we kind of talked about it last week a little bit, and I just mentioned it in terms of the outside seating area, but Trader Sam's.
Big deal.
It is a big deal. It's the sequel to the Disneyland bar that's kind of set into the 30s tiki culture, and they explained to us this is set more into the 60s tiki culture, which I didn't realize that it changed throughout decades, but apparently it did.
Absolutely.
So this is much more nautical, and there's the clamshell and the tentacle arm that will pour rum into your drinks, and it's a really great addition.
Oh.
What happened?
Kathy didn't.
Trying to picture this, I can't even imagine.
You can't. Well, you could look at a picture of it, and then you could picture.
Well, then show me one.
One thing that I really
Okay.
Show me one. Like you have every picture available to you right there in front of you.
Well, you would have seen it last week in the video that I put together, or you can find it on youtube.com/wdwinfo, and that could be a little bit. That could be a little bit more guidance for you in terms of being able to see it. But the bar is absolutely fantastic in every way. I've had multiple trips there now, inside as well as outside. Inside, it's just like the one out in California. There's lots of little hidden details around. Some of my favorite ones are in the picture that's showing right now and will also be in the show notes page. But there's Walt Disney holding a tentacle arm. I'm guessing the one from 20,000 Leagues. The octopus or squid from that, whatever one you want to call it, and then even there's like little orange birds hidden around.
Did he say octopus?
Yes.
I said octopus? Yeah.
In any event.
You know.
Well, I'll edit that out later.
Goodness.
I'm not going to.
Has it calmed down any? Is it still as crowded?
Not at all.
I
Just said it hasn't calmed down.
Yeah, thank you.
sorry.
Thank you. I was there on Good Friday. I was relaxing and enjoying the Tiki Terrace, not
As
the
any good
inside.
Catholic would be.
It was an hour to two to get in on Good
wow.
Friday. I didn't.
Okay.
I just wanted to relax outside and kind of take in how it would be sitting outside on a 90-degree day, and
But
it's
is it still
absolutely
crowded?
miserable. Yes, it is still. It's still crowded, and it's going to be a scorcher. I mean, out in California with the temperature, it can be in the 90s, but still relaxing because you don't have that humidity. Out here, I think a lot of people are going to be passing out from drinking way too much and not getting enough shade.
And how lucky
water.
that it's right next to the kiddie area.
I promise I will
Teach your children well.
I will be the first person to throw up in the kiddie play area.
There you go.
If I have my way.
Jeez. Do you think that this is always going to be popular? This is just going to be one of those places that everyone wants to go to.
Until the next round of Tiki Culture comes out, because apparently it's every 30 years.
Yeah,
That would have been the 90s.
Yeah.
How did we miss that?
I think that's like very Malibu surfer, that style.
I can't wait for the
I don't know.
for the 2020 edition.
I'm excited for that one coming up. Hopefully I have a little bit of input on what happens with that. I think it's going
They're going to put the kiddie pool in Trader Sam's.
I like how Craig is going to be Rabbit on the live, and he's going to have input on how Disney designs the next Tiki Culture.
I'm coming up in the world, I promise. I think it's going to remain popular. However, it is a very niche market too, because it is so expensive. I know people are used to coming on Disney vacations and spending a lot more money than they would actually originally expect to spend, but you're getting a lot of fun things out of it. So like the Nautilus drink that they're featuring, for $50 you get a lot of shots of liquor,
$50
and then you get to take home the awesome Nautilus tiki drink.
I thought that was a
holder.
shoe.
Where would I keep that?
Where would you keep that? Where
Some-
wouldn't you
Like
keep
brass
that?
knuckles or something.
Is that the most expensive one though?
That is the most expensive one. Then the OWA that they also have out in California, that goes down into like the $40 range. Most of the ones that you are going to take home are going to be a little less expensive.
Go back
That's
to that.
sushi.
That's
Wait, go
sushi.
back to the drink.
There's the shoe.
Here's the deal. All kidding aside, people are going to eat that up.
Oh,
People
Fucking
are gonna-
iron.
They're going to
Absolutely.
love that.
Most of the drinks that they have come with these really cool mugs, and people are getting the drinks just to get the mugs,
Yeah.
including we have one here in this this room. This pearl. This is the drink, the pearl, and I know of an individual who bought many of these because apparently, at some point,
Is that person sitting back here with me?
no.
I can tell you this one wasn't washed out. I can still see the drink stain inside of it.
Yeah,
That was from Yankee Candle.
the point is that every once in a while you'll order one of these drinks and the drink comes out in a black pearl, and that's just by chance. So I know there are people who
Did
are
your-
ordering many of these hoping that they'll eventually
the
get one
cheapest
out of
one?
a black
Did your
pearl.
friend get the black pearl before they headed to AA?
No, unfortunately not.
So it's not like every 7th one or 8th one. It's
It's
truly
every
rare.
100
Every
and
100th.
some- Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and I mean
I love
it's
black
cool. The
pearls.
only problem with the pearls in general is that all the other all the other cups are nice ceramic, heavy duty,
Yeah.
glossy cups, and then this one's plastic, and
It is glossy though.
it is slightly glossy. It could be glossier in my
You could
opinion.
put Christmas lights in it and make a whole string of them.
Oh, look at him being creative
if
with it. That
you
should
know,
go on
if
Pinterest.
that's what you want to do, that's what
That
you
was
got.
sarcasm.
I bet you that I'll see that on Pinterest in 2 weeks.
There you go.
The one did you start? You mentioned the blah, blah,
OWA.
They brought that element in from California, where when you order certain drinks, there are interactive elements in the bar that are triggered. And my personal favorite is the OWA because, as you can see in the picture, that is the Tiki Goddess from when the Enchanted Tiki Room here in Walt Disney World had its change to that awful thing with Iago and Zazu. There was a Tiki Goddess added to the story.
Pele.
But I liked the Tiki Goddess.
She used to try and touch it. You put your
Yeah,
finger
she was the only part of the new show that I liked. Well, they've saved her and moved her over to Trader Sam's. And when you order one of the OWA drinks, she comes to life and says something scary to you.
Do you want to know something interesting? She's one of the most advanced audio animatronics at Walt Disney World.
Oh, really?
She don't work no more.
I did
No,
not know
she doesn't
that.
work.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
just
it's-
stands
That's right.
there.
So is the Yeti.
Yeah,
so
it's-
maybe that says something about the audio animatronics. But
It's just black lighting effects on it now, and she comes up and says like, if you mess with the Polynesia, the Tiki gods will squeeze you. Something.
she doesn't
How long?
move. She doesn't.
No, it's
move
just
it.
same voice,
all
right?
lighting.
Is she the
and-
one with the tentacle?
No, that's if you order the $50 Nautilus. That without the mug also costs $30. Those aren't in stock yet, though. They have 14 of the mugs. The rest of them got lost in China.
Yeah.
So they're
I bet
just
you they're on
waiting
the
for them
streets.
to get back. But overall, Trader Sam's, it's expensive, but it's a good time. The drinks are awesome. The food's good too. That's the Headhunter sushi roll, which was decent sushi, and there's some other fun things. My favorite things to eat are the Portuguese sausage corn dogs. Those were absolutely incredible, but I think it's a perfect addition to it. I wish it was less busy so I could go there more often.
What happens if you're not staying at the resort? Can you just go to the Polynesian and say, "Hey, I'm going to Trader Sam's"?
So
and I
far,
want-"
Yep.
I mean, over Easter week, yeah, they're trying to cut down on people coming into the lots just because it's already filled to capacity with resort guests. But right whenever it first soft opened, before it got super busy, they were fine. If you just said, "I'm going to Trader Sam's," you could pull right up. Obviously, you can't have reservations for it like
Right.
the other restaurants. So I guess they're going to try to be a little more relaxed with their parking policies now, instead of the stricter, if you don't have a reservation, you can't pull on here. But
Because this seems to me like this would be an opportunity for some people who might want to not park at Walt Disney at the Magic Kingdom parking lot to park at the Polynesian and say, "Hey, I'm going to Trader Sam's," and hop on the monorail. So it seems like it's defeating their purpose of, the way they set up other resorts, other monorail resorts.
I mean, well, the one aspect of that is Trader Sam's doesn't open until 4 o'clock every day.
Okay.
It closes at midnight, and after 8 o'clock, kids aren't allowed in the bar area, and they're never allowed to actually sit at the bar itself. So if someone's coming at 12
9
o'clock,
a.m., right,
unless, if they're coming at 9 a.m. and saying, I'm waiting for Trader Sam's,
No, you're not.
security will just probably laugh at them and be like, come back at 2 o'clock. And
But if it's after 8 o'clock, you could just hand your drinks over the wall to the kids in the pool, right?
Right.
Oh, exactly, yes. I condone kids drinking underage, as long as they're 5 or younger.
You know that's going to blow up.
I don't care.
Hello, we know he's not serious.
Why is all this happening under my watch?
Because we love you. That, in a nutshell, is the new Polynesian resort. As I mentioned, Captain Cook's went
That's
through
one
a
of the
little bit of a
drinks.
makeover. And
The nutshell.
in a nutshell, the pineapple lanai was added. So now you get your Dole Whips outside of Captain Cook's, and they are very strict about the serving size you get. I was one of the people who always went there and completely abused it and would fill up my cup at least about 8 or 9 inches high. I don't know. It might have been a complex thing, but... Or I might have just loved Dole Whip.
Did he spell compensation?
Why are you letting me talk?
I am regretting it. That's for sure. Tell us a little bit about how now the lagoon area has changed and how the beach has changed, because that was a huge place for people to go and watch fireworks, and with the bungalows there, they can't do that. So,
well, actually, I completely...
Fireworks shoot into the sky.
Well, that's a good point. And people were worried about how much it would disrupt the view of the castle, because some people are so anal retentive that they have to be able to see the castle while they see the fireworks. They can't enjoy it any other way. On the beach area itself, the main one by the Volcano Pool.
Calling our listeners anal retentive.
Some of them. They know who they are. And then the other beach area over by the Luau show, you still have perfect views of fireworks. And even Sunset Point, that's not going to be blocked off. Anyone can still walk up there.
Or just go out on those balconies outside the bungalows. Those people.
exactly.
Just hop the fence and go
Throw
right
your
over,
feet in the
barge in. It really hasn't been disrupted in any way. Even if you're staying at that Hawaii longhouse with concierge that's right behind the bungalows, even that, if you're staying on the first floor, it's not going to block a view. I walked through the grass and didn't walk onto anyone's balcony because that would be really disrespectful and probably breaking rules. But I kind of stood right beside it. You can still see everything perfectly. So everyone who was worried about it, there's no reason to be distressed. Everything will be fine.
That's good to know.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, before we finish up with the conversation, I do want to talk a little bit about the DVC points for this property. Being the newest Disney Vacation Club property, it's mostly going to be DVC members staying there, especially initially,
Yes.
because they get to book it before the general public does.
And there are only 20 bungalows. So.
That is correct, and that is going to be an issue because those bungalows are highly coveted already. I do have the point chart in front of me, and this is available on our site. If you go to the www.info.com, click on the DVC link, there'll be a link for point charts, and you can see what this resort is going to cost you as far as points go. And for the most part, the studios aren't that much different than any other DVC property. They're not crazy out of line. They're a little bit high on holiday times. What really strikes me is the amount of points for a bungalow. The bungalows, in my opinion, are costing what Grand Villas cost at other resorts. 1,400 points for a week in a bungalow during premiere season, during their highest affinity season. So, this is something that I don't think a lot of DVC members are going to be able to do because people don't have 1,400 points lying around.
Nope.
So that's interesting to find out how that's going to happen. Also, the price of these points is now some of the highest prices out there, 165. I don't know exactly what the current number is. So these are very, very expensive points. It comes to the question of how much more can Disney do? Where can they go next? How much more can they charge for points? It seems like it's never ending. I know Jenny Lynn's a DVC member. I don't know about you. I get full color glossy stuff from them on a monthly basis. They are putting out propaganda and support material, all the time that costs them a lot of money. So this is a very lucrative thing for Disney to do.
If 2 or 3 families, you said they hold 10 people?
Up to 8.
No. each studio holds up to 5 people. So if you get two,
No, I was talking about the bungalows. I'm sorry.
Oh, the bungalows.
8.
Sleep
Yeah,
8.
yeah.
Now, here's the deal, though. The bungalows sleep 8 with 2 in each of the beds and somebody on that trundle bed. That's crowded. You know, that's a lot of people in that small area. And if people do it because they want to stay there, for sure. But I think that that's too many people in that area. So, yeah.
Yeah, and there are only 2 bathrooms in those bungalows. There's not an extra bathroom in there, which I think with the Grand Villas, I believe it's 3 bathrooms is pretty standard for Grand Villas, correct?
Or 2.5, depending on the accommodations. What you also have, too, is, you know, you could say 8 people, well, that's 2 families. Still, you know, in the lowest season, it's 841 points for a week.
Mm-hmm. Someone in chat has figured out that to buy 1,400 points right now at the Poly would be about $231,000.
Right. I even look at it in a different way in that the points have a resale value. Mm-hmm. You can go to someone who does resale, or you can go to our boards and go to the for rent for trade board, and points are going for about $12 a night. I'm not smart enough to do the math in my head, but that's somewhere around $16,000 or $18,000 for a week in one of those bungalows, price equivalent. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So
Someone else has pointed out that you could go to Bora Bora.
you could go to Bora Bora. And we have for much less money, that's for sure.
Wow.
So, I mean, these are great. I mean, I love that they're doing this to the Polynesian. I think it's great that they always are improving their resorts. This is something I give Disney a lot of credit for, whether or not you like the changes or you like the direction. At least they're always in the process of keeping things fresh and new. And DVC is a big moneymaker for them. I'm just going to be curious to see how these bungalows go.
The 2 things I did ask one of the people that was giving us the tour, what were the considerations taken when putting DVC into the Poly, and there were 2 that he named right
Money.
after that. Well, one of them being, like, as Craig mentioned earlier, the completion of the monorail loop. So, you know, DVC has, in totality, invaded the monorail loop. It's everywhere at this point. The other one is that Polynesian has been long on the waiting list as far as DVC member demand. So this is, you know, their answers to that. It's not, it's not a big expansion, you know, 3 long houses and 20 bungalows, but, you know, it's there and they did it, and now everybody's got to fight for it, I suppose.
And it takes a lot of rooms out of inventory. But excellent. Craig, Jenny Lynn, thank you so much for giving us that information. Really appreciate it, all the work you've done. Great work on the pictures and video. They look fantastic. So thank you very much for doing that. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We really enjoyed talking to you, or at least I did. Kevin doesn't look like he enjoyed anything. We hope you join us next week for another edition of the Diz Unplugged.